What's going on, guys? Nathan here, bringing you a Team Fortress 2 gameplay commentary. This video's topic will include the Powerjack for the Pyro and where it stands within all of his or her melee weapons, being we do not know for certain the gender of this creature. So a little bit about the gameplay here. This was an amazing gameplay. It was freaking like awesome. At the end we actually do end up winning, but I'll just at the end I'll unmute some of the game audio so that you can hear like how intense this was. We had like a medic well, he strangely sounded like Sea Nanners, but that's beside the point. He was like talking into the mic all the time, and he was getting like super into it, and it was just really hilarious. So at the end, I'll unmute some of the audio to just show that he was pretty funny. But yeah, this gameplay was super intense. Always on PL Badwater because Badwater is amazing, and yeah, I'll be playing with the Powerjack. So let's talk about it for a little bit. So the reason I wanted to make this commentary about the Powerjack was because it's just not seen at all in Team Fortress 2, and really the only times that you end up seeing it is when somebody's using the attendance setup so that they get plus 10% movement speed and then plus 10% bullet damage, or you take 10% more bullet damage. But I just thought it was interesting being this weapon is never used, and like it used to be pretty good. It used to have that plus 25% damage done like the Rake does in Team Fortress 2 presently, but so once it got buffed, nobody really uses this weapon anymore, and I just find that kind of interesting because I mean it's not like it's super weak compared to the other pyro melees. It's on par about, but yeah, I'm just not sure why it's just not used that much. So really quickly, the Powerjack stats are plus 75 health restored on kill, plus 20% damage from melee sources while active, and if you look at those stats, they seem actually pretty decent. I mean, if you take a closer look, like, when are you ever gonna get meleeed as a pyro when you have your melee out, unless it's like a demo man, but even then it's only plus 20% more damage from melee sources. I mean, that's barely anything. Well, I suppose, I mean, it's more than barely anything, but plus 20% from melee sources, it's only one specific type of weapon, and you're only getting a little bit of that specific type of weapon in the first place. But then plus 25 health on kill, I mean, that could actually have a few uses. First would be doing like train melees, I suppose you could call them, basically where you just go into a group of enemies, somehow not get killed, and basically just flame everybody and then kill them with your melee so that you can keep regaining health. And it's kind of like the kunai for spy. I mean, that's very good for train stabs, although obviously that's a different story because you instantly regain your full health. But I mean, that still seems to have its own sort of niche for somebody's playstyle for like train melees. I also think a good weapon to compare the Powerjack to would be the Back Scratcher, being both weapons have health as part of their weapon statistics. And with the Back Scratcher, you obviously gain more health from health packs. With the Powerjack, you gain health on kill, and I would say that maybe the Rake is a little bit more useful, being it also has that plus 25% damage. But I still think the Powerjack has the capability of being good, assuming it's used right, because if you get plus 25 health on kill, you know, it's good if you don't have a medic on your team. Both Rake and Powerjack are good if you don't have a medic or really like dispensers. But once again, with the Powerjack, you're gonna have to be right up close to an enemy to gain that plus 75 health, and you're probably gonna lose 75 health in the process of using it. So yeah, like I said before, I mean, it has potential to be a good weapon, assuming it's used right, but as it is, I think it would deserve maybe a small nerf, like I would say maybe plus 10% damage, plus 15% damage. I mean, the Rake itself does plus 25% damage, and like I would much rather use the Rake or the Extinguisher just because they do more damage than the default melee, and the Powerjack being they both have, you know, the same amount of damage. So yeah. All in all, though, I think I would still take the Extinguisher over every single pyro melee, except for the Rake in some cases, because with the Extinguisher, you have guaranteed crits, and you would have to have a really, really good melee weapon to beat the fact of 3 times damage. Guaranteed 3 times damage. And, yeah, but I would definitely use the Rake in some situations as well, though, because the Rake deals in having good health, and good health is another important aspect of Team Fortress 2, so, yeah, that's definitely useful for some situations where you don't have a medic or an engineer. But like I said before, I think the Powerjack deserves a buff. Actually, well, as it is right now, it's not the worst melee, being the default definitely is the worst, but I think it should still deserve a buff of some sort, maybe, you know, like plus 15% damage, just because everything is just not on par with the sweat. Well, I mean, it's sort of on par, but like the extinguisher is just above everything else so much, then the rake is just a little bit below that, and then it's like the rest of the melees are below that. So in summary, I think that the Powerjack has potential, but as it is right now, you know, it's not on par with the extinguisher or the rake, and I definitely think it needs a buff to maybe heighten it on the hypothetical ladder, I suppose you could call it, of pyro melees. But yeah, that's just, you know, thoughts on the Powerjack. And that will wrap up the video, guys. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a rating. I'd appreciate that a lot. If you're new to my channel, feel free to subscribe. 14 Fortress 2 commentaries. I'm going to unmute the audio because this is the guy that was super into the game, and it's pretty funny, his reaction when we win. So screaming into the mic is always a good option, but yeah, this gameplay was super intense. At the end there, I got a quintuple kill, 5 of them, so yeah, this gameplay was amazing as you see me spazzing around there. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.